a Broadway musical about a man who embodies hip-hop, America's first Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton. I know what you're thinking. This isn't a movie. And you know what? You're right. But 2020 was a weird year, and this list is the only thing in my life I can control, and for that reason, Hamilton is my #1 movie of 2020. How does a long-haired 30-something Puerto Rican immigrant from New York write something that resonates with the whole world? There are a lot of people, some of whom were in the room where it happened, who compare Lin-Manuel Miranda to a modern-day William Shakespeare. Everything in this 2-hour and 40-minute masterpiece is done in song. Everything rhymes. Everything has multiple meanings. Sometime a melody will reappear with a single word of dialogue change, completely changing the meaning of the entire song. Writing is easy. Writing a genre-bending period piece that becomes the biggest show in Broadway history is harder. Hamilton is multi-layered. It's like an onion. The more you peel, the more there is to discover. You can watch it on the surface and be satisfied with the 40-plus incredible original songs that make up the entire show. But if you take the time to dig a little deeper, every song, every word, every melody, and even every movement across the stage has multiple meanings that can transcend time. When Hamilton ends, you're going to be asking yourself, what did I miss? Sorry about that. But no matter how closely you look or how many times you watch, you will pick up new things with each subsequent rewatch. Lin-Manuel Miranda was young when he wrote Hamilton, but his mind was older. And unlike his character in the show, he has both brains and polish. And no offense to any of my history teachers I had throughout my entire schooling career, but I learned more in the opening number of Hamilton than I did in all of my U.S. history classes combined. And if I'm being completely honest, the only thing that I knew about Alexander Hamilton before watching this show was that he was shot by Aaron Burr, and I learned that from a Got Milk commercial with Steve Buscemi. Now, instead of feeling helpless and just falling asleep in class learning about these stodgy old white men in history books, we were able to simply meet all of these larger-than-life characters and see them as the human beings that they are. They have the same feelings and flaws and motivations as we do, almost 300 years later. We feel their passion of wanting to rise up and create a nation of states where they no longer have to worry about the state of their nation. These young founding fathers are scrappy and hungry, just like their country. I ask that if you choose to watch Hamilton, go in with no preconceived notions. Let your guard down for a second, or even a millisecond, and take the time to try to understand how these venerated Virginian veterans felt. And of course, because it's a smash hit Broadway musical, all of the performers are absolute stars. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote every second of Hamilton, is by far the weakest performer of the bunch. And a lot of critics have said that he should have written himself out of the narrative, but when you write a masterpiece, you get to play the character you want. Daveed Diggs oozes charisma as both Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. Philippa Sue wears her heart on her sleeve as Eliza Schuyler Hamilton, and some people have even speculated that the show may be named Hamilton after her character and not Alexander Hamilton. Your heart will break with her multiple times throughout the show. Anthony Ramos is full of passion as both John Laurens and Philip Hamilton. Renee Elise Goldsberry struts her intelligence and confidence as Angelica Schuyler. Christopher Jackson stands tall, and you feel his unmatched leadership as George Washington with that silky smooth voice. And who can forget Leslie Odom Jr. as the most complex character in the entire narrative, Aaron Burr. Each of these characters has their moment to shine. Some of them do it while singing, some of them do it while rapping, some of them do it both singing and rapping, and some of them even do it in multiple accents. When these characters rap, you cannot believe that they can keep these lyrics straight in their head, or have the dexterity to speak them with such elegance and eloquence. And while this is known primarily as a hip-hop musical, it also has some of the best singing I've ever heard. The vocal harmonies of the Schuyler sisters, or just the entire ensemble cast as a whole. There's not a weak member in the entire cast. Hamilton melds genres like the US melds cultures. But what about the people who say, I don't listen to hip-hop? Don't worry. There's enough lyrical content, melody, multi-part harmony, and emotion in every single song you will quickly forget you don't like hip-hop. Don't like musicals? Not to worry. Even though there's not really a single spoken word throughout this entire show, it never really delves into that hokey show tune thing that is probably what you think of when you say you don't like musicals. Don't like history, you say? Not to worry. This show is a historical civics lesson, but it also holds a mirror up to modern day society. Hamilton is a special show. It's a once-in-a-generation spectacle that has grown into more and more of a phenomenon as time passes. Hamilton recreated a historical world for us, and it blew us all away. Lin-Manuel Miranda, history now has its eye on you. Burning letters. historical rap battles, scattered papers, sisters, true love.